The phone buzzed like a hornet trapped in a jar, pulling me from the edge of sleep at 5:45 a.m. It wasn't the alarm I'd set for my first day of forced freedom, no. This was Sarah from HR, her voice cracking through the speaker like she'd just swallowed glass. Michael, we have a disaster. Over 500 employees didn't get paid this morning. The whole system's locked up. Please, you have to help. I stared at the ceiling, the fan blades slicing through the dim light of my Brooklyn apartment, and felt that old knot in my gut twist just a little tighter. Help? After they'd tossed me out like yesterday's coffee grounds? I didn't answer right away. Let her stew in the silence I'd been drowning in for the past 2 weeks. See, I'd built that payroll beast from the ground up at Apex Logistics, a mid-sized shipping firm in the heart of New Jersey's industrial sprawl. For 8 years, I'd been the invisible guardian in the basement office, wedged between humming servers and stacks of forgotten file cabinets that smelled like mildew and regret. Michael Hayes, the guy who made sure every truck driver, warehouse picker, and suit in the C-suite got their dues on time. No fanfare. No corner office with a view of the Hudson. Just me, my code, and the quiet satisfaction of a system that hummed like a well-oiled engine. It wasn't flashy COBOL roots with Python patches, triple backups, and logic gates I'd layered like armor against the chaos of tax codes, union rules, and federal regs. But it worked. Flawlessly. Caught a fake invoice from a ghost supplier once. Saved the company 6 figures without a thank you note. Then came the shakeup. New blood in operations, Victor Lang. The VP with a Harvard polish and a smile that could sell ice to Eskimos. He brought his kid, Tyler, fresh from some Silicon Valley boot camp. All hoodies and energy drinks. Preaching cloud migration like it was the second coming. Tyler looked at my setup and sneered, calling it dinosaur code during a team huddle. We're going agile. Dad, Victor. No more black boxes. Real-time analytics. Baby. I sat there, fingers drumming on my worn-out keyboard, tasting bile. My system had 0 downtime in years. But to them, I was the relic holding back progress. The axe fell on a rainy Tuesday afternoon. Victor called me into his glass-walled lair, Tyler lounging in the corner like he'd already claimed my chair. Michael, we've appreciated your dedication, Victor said, his eyes sliding away like he was reading from a script. But we're pivoting to modern solutions. Tyler's leading the charge. No warning. No transition plan. Just a severance check that barely covered 2 months' rent and an escort to the door by a pimply security guard who wouldn't meet my gaze. I packed my desk into a soggy cardboard box, the rain pattering on it like mocking applause. As I handed over my badge, I looked Victor dead in the eye. You've got until the next payroll run. After that, you'll feel it. He chuckled, clapping me on the shoulder like we were pals. We'll manage. Mike. Thanks for the memories. Tyler just smirked, already typing on his laptop. I didn't rage. Didn't smash anything on the way out. That wasn't my style. But deep in the code, years ago, I'd woven in safeguards, not bombs. Mind you, nothing illegal. Just insurance. Contingencies for the day some hotshot decided to play God without reading the manual. Rotating keys tied to my personal auth. Decoupled nodes that needed manual overrides only I knew. It was my quiet rebellion against a world that chewed up loyal folks and spat them out. Corporate America, where you're essential until you're expendable. I walked to my car, box under one arm, and felt the first flicker of something cold and satisfying uncoil in my chest. Not vengeance yet. Just the knowledge that silence could be louder than any scream. The first cracks showed up subtle, like hairline fractures in a dam. A warehouse crew in Philly got shorted on overtime, straight time instead of time and a half. Thanks to a union clause Tyler probably skimmed over in his optimization sprint. I knew because I'd kept a shadow instance running on my home server. A mirror I'd set up for testing years back. They never revoked access. Why would they? I was gone. Forgotten. Logs poured in. A benefits deduction doubled for a driver in Ohio. A 401k match that vanished into the ether. I sipped my black coffee, watching from my cramped home setup an old IKEA desk shoved against the wall. Screen glowing in the pre-dawn hush. No glee. Just a hollow ache. These were real people. Folks I'd shared breakroom chit-chat with. Now paying for the arrogance upstairs. Tyler. From what I pieced together through back-channel texts from old colleagues, was strutting around like a peacock. Just teething issues, he'd say in Slack threads. Tossing out emojis like confetti. But under the hood? He was slashing code he didn't understand, deleting legacy scripts that handled everything from state tax variances to pension rollovers. One by one, he gutted the redundancies I'd built to prevent exactly this. It was like watching a kid dismantle a Swiss watch with a hammer. Convinced he could make it smarter. The pressure built slow. A tension headache spreading through the company. A sales rep in Texas tweeted anonymously, "Company wellness email lands. But my paycheck doesn't?" Peak irony. It went semi-viral in industry circles. But Apex brushed it off as a glitch. By the end of the first week, the whispers turned to murmurs. Union reps started emailing grievances, delayed dues, mismatched contributions. Sarah in HR forwarded panic notes to Victor. "We're getting calls. People can't pay bills." Victor's replies were gold standard denial, transition pains. "Tell them we're streamlining for efficiency." Efficiency? That word burned. I'd streamlined for years, eating cold sandwiches at my desk during open enrollment crunches, only to be labeled obsolete. The betrayal sat heavy, a stone in my stomach. Why fight for a place that saw me as disposable? I ignored the first tentative outreach, a LinkedIn message from a mid-level manager. "Hey Mike. Any tips on the old system?" Deleted. Let them marinate in their choices. Then came the cascade. Thursday night. The backup reconciliation failed. No big red alarm, just a quiet lockout on the batch runner. Deposit stalled. Stubs glitched. By Friday morning, it was biblical. 1,200 paychecks frozen. Some showing negative balances. Others zeroed out. A forklift operator in Chicago posted his stub on Reddit. "Boss says, optimize, I say, pay me." The thread exploded. Contractors tied to federal gigs flagged breaches, DL regs violated. Investigations looming. That's when the real fear hit. In America, you don't mess with wages. It's not just bad PR. It's lawsuits. Fines. The IRS knocking. My phone lit up at 6:17 a.m. That Friday, Victor's number. I let it ring. The vibration echoing off my apartment walls. Voicemail, "Michael. It's Vic. Look. Things are complicated. Call me back." Complicated? Try humiliating. The man who'd fired me without a handshake now begging like a kid caught with his hand in the cookie jar. I didn't call. Instead, I walked my rescue mutt, Buster, through the misty streets. The city waking up oblivious to the corporate implosion across the river. The silence felt like power. But it came with a price, a gnawing guilt for the little guys caught in the crossfire. Still, this wasn't about them. It was about the suits who thought loyalty was a one-way street. Word trickled in via encrypted chats from sympathetic ex-colleagues. Tyler in a war room. Sweat-soaked shirt. Scribbling nonsense on a whiteboard. Rebuild the pipeline, manual sync. They tried overrides. But my checksums kicked in files flagged as tampered. Restores rejected. Legal looped in. Painting nightmare scenarios, class actions. ERISA violations for botched retirements. Union strikes. Over 50 employees with catch-up 401(k)s? That's federal heat. Victor barricaded in his office, dialing me repeatedly. I pictured him. Tie loosened, realizing his pivot had pivoted right off a cliff. By noon, the CEO, Elena Ruiz, stormed in, a powerhouse in heels, known for TEDx talks on empathetic leadership. She wasn't empathetic that day. Sat stone-faced as legal laid out the carnage. $3.8 million exposure in penalties alone. Vendors pulling contracts. Stock dipping in whispers. Victor blamed tech debt, pointing fingers at my archaic code. But Sarah muttered, "Michael warned you." The room froze. Elena's gaze could cut steel. He what? Accusations flew. Victor defended. Tyler shrunk. We tried contacting him. Victor stammered. Elena and voicemail. The air thickened with regret. The kind that comes too late. The email hit at 1:45 p.m. Urgent discussion needed. From Elena herself. I ignored it. Made a proper lunch, grilled turkey on rye. Sat on my fire escape watching traffic crawl. The power shift was intoxicating, but laced with bitterness. 8 years of invisibility. Now I was the ghost haunting their machine. Signal buzzed, CEOs freaking. Unions filing. Fix incoming. I typed nothing. Let the wound fester. Dusk fell. And the knock came firm. Insistent. Not Victor. Not Tyler. Elena. Coat slung over her arm. Looking like she'd aged a decade. Michael, she said. Voice steady but eyes pleading. Can we talk? In person. I let her in. Buster sniffing suspiciously. She surveyed my setup, the humming PC. Scattered notes, like it was a war room. We underestimated you, she admitted. Setting down a folder thick with printouts, error stacks. Legal memos. A pie chart screaming catastrophic failure. We thought payroll was plug and play. I leaned against the counter. It never was. But you didn't ask. The admission hung there. Raw. She wasn't demanding. She was desperate. Help us stop this. Please. I didn't jump. The hurt ran deep, betrayed trust. Silenced expertise. But staring at those logs. Red flags pulsing like wounds. I felt the cost. Not just theirs. Mine. Isolation's a heavy crown. I'll consider it, I said. Watching her deflate just a touch. She left the folder. Her card. That night. Sleep evaded me. Memories replaying. Late nights coding alone. Ignored in meetings. Discarded without ceremony. The contract arrived Saturday via courier consultant terms. No micromanagement. Full access. Rate triple my old salary. 6-month retainer. I redlined one clause, sole override authority. Signed by Monday. Logging in felt surreal, the mess worse than imagined, loops devouring data. Tables orphaned. I patched methodically. Hours blurring. By Tuesday. Flows stabilized. Deposits hit. Unions backed off. Feds quieted. Tyler vanished, LinkedIn profile dark. Whispers of mutual parting. Victor took sabbatical, code for exile. No victory dance for me. Just quiet vindication. Sarah messaged, systems purring. Good to have you. Sort of back. Thumbs up. The logs cleared. Green across the board. Essential. They called it now. But I knew the truth. Revenge isn't sweet. It's a scar that reminds you of the cut. And in corporate America, silence can be the loudest payback.